fourth graders, and welcome to your video for Unit 8, Session 1.7, Single and Double Towers Discussion. I'd like you to go and get into your Math Student Activity Book, and I'd like you to open up to page 529, and I'd like you to also have some cubes with you as well. So go ahead and pause the video, get your workbook, a pencil, page 529, and some cubes, and then press play. Alright, so let's go back and talk about our single towers. And how many windows were in a single tower. So, we have our single tower. We know that these circles on the sides represent windows. And so for one level of our single tower, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 windows, but we also know that the one on the top, which represents the skylight, is also a window. So for number of floors, this is our first floor, wants to know how many windows, and there were 5. Okay, so now let's talk about what you wrote as your answers for the rest of these floors. For 2 floors, there were 9 windows. For 3 floors, there were 13 windows. For 4 floors, there were 17 windows. For 5 floors, there were 21 windows. For 6 floors, there were 25 windows. For 7 floors, there were 29 windows. For 8 floors, there were 33 windows. For 9 floors, there were 37 windows. And finally, for 10 floors, there are 41 windows. Now, in looking at this, what are some things that you notice that is happening in our table with our number of windows? What do we notice about the numbers? I can see that my numbers go for each floor. We've got 5, then it goes to 9, then it goes to 13, and our number of windows are going up with each floor as the floors go up. How much are they going up for each level? Well, 5 plus what gives me 9? 5 plus what equals 9? The answer there is 4. Let's see if this holds true for the next one. 9 plus what gives me 13? 4. 9 plus 4 is 13. Does this rule hold true for the rest of the floors? Well, let's see. Start at 37 and count up to 41 and see how many that is. That is 4. So yes, this works for every single one of these floors. But why? Why does this work? Well, if you remember what we started out with, we said that one level had 4 windows, 2, 3, 4, and it had one skylight, which we count as a window as well. And we know that each of the floors goes up by 4 windows. Does it go up by a skylight as well? Or is there always going to be one skylight? Well, let's look at 10 floors and see. This is 10 floors of our single tower. How many skylights do you have on 10 floors? Well, I only see one skylight. So what is increasing are the number of windows, but the one skylight is staying the same. So, how did we figure out how many number of windows there were on 10 floors? How could I do that really quick so that I wouldn't have to sit and build one? How could I write that as a written expression? Well, you could say we knew this because 4 floors is what is increasing every single time, with the one skylight staying the same. But how could we write that as an equation or a written expression? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you could write it. A couple of different ways. You may say, well, I know there are 4 windows on each floor, and I could multiply that by the floor that I want to find. Let's say we wanted to find the 9th floor. And then I know that I have to also add in the 1 skylight. So what does this 4 represent? The 4 windows on each floor. What does this 9 represent? The floor that we're talking about. And what does this 1 represent? The 1 skylight. Well, let's see if this works and if we get 37. We know that 4 times 9 is 36. 36 plus 1 gives us 37. Well, will this equation work every single time? Well, let's see. How many windows will there be on 15 floors? Let's see. Well, how many windows are there on 1 floor? 1 level. We know on 1 level there are 4 windows. And what level do they want us to find out? The 15. And how many skylights would there always be? Just 1. We'll add the 1. Now 4 times 15. We know that 2 times 15 is 30. So if we double that, we know that 30 plus 30 is 60. And then 60 plus 1 equals 61. You could have also continued on with your chart. We know that it's going up by 4 each time. So what's 41 plus 4? 45, that would be the 11th floor. Let's go to the 12th floor. What's 45 plus 4? 49. Let's go to the 13th floor. What's 49 plus 4? 53. What is the 14th floor? 53 plus 4. 57. And finally the 15th floor. What's 57 plus 4? 61. Is that the same thing that we got right here? Yes, so this works. Very good. Now let's go ahead and look on page 530. 530. Now this is where you had to build a double tower. A double tower. And so that is where you had the single towers side by side. Now we talked about on the double tower how many windows there would be on 1 floor. Remember, the circles represent windows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 on the back, 5, 6. But now, how many skylights are there? There are 2. So 6 plus 2 equals 8. So on the first floor, the number of windows is 8. On the second floor, the number of windows is 14. On the third floor, the number of windows is 20. On the fourth floor, the number of windows is 26. On the fifth floor, the number of windows is 32. The sixth floor is 38 windows. The seventh floor is 44 windows. The eighth floor is 50 windows. The ninth floor is 56 windows. And the 10th floor is 62 windows. So now let's take a look at our table at what is happening. Well, when I go from 8 to 14, my number is increasing because my number of windows increase with each floor. But how many is it increasing? 8 plus what equals 14? If you said 6, that is correct. Let's see if that works for the next one. 14 plus what equals 20? Well, I know that 14 plus 6 equals 20. So for each number of floor, we are increasing by 6 windows. 6 windows, okay? Does the number of skylights stay the same? Do the number of skylights stay the same? Let's look. Let's make 2 floors. Do I still have 2 skylights? 1, 2. Yes, I do. And let's double check to make sure I have 14 windows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 on the back. 4 plus 4 is 8. On the side, 9, 10. On this side, 11 and 12. But don't forget the 2 skylights that stay the same, 13 and 14. So how would we figure out the number of windows on the 10th floor? Now, how many windows were there on one floor? How many windows? Not skylights, but how many windows? Well, we know that there were 6 windows on each floor. And what floor do we want to find out? The 10th floor. So let's multiply that by the floor, because each floor has 6 windows. But how many skylights are we always going to have? 2. So then we want to add 2. So 6 times 10 equals 60, and 60 plus 2 is 62. Do we think that this would work on the 15th floor? Let's check it and see. So we know there are 6 windows on a floor. We want to find out the 15th floor. And we know that the skylights are going to stay the same every time. So now, 6 times 15. Well, I know that 2 times 15 is 30. Another 2 times 15 is 30. And another 2 times 15 is 30. That makes 2, 4, 6. 6 groups of 15. And 30 plus 30 plus 30 equals 90. And then the 2 skylights that stay the same are 92 total windows. Now let's see if this works out correctly. So on the 11th floor, if we say 62 plus 6, that gives us 68. The 12th floor, 68 plus 6, that gives us 74. The 13th floor, 74 plus 6, that gives us 80. The 14th floor, 80 plus 6, that gives us 86. And the 15th floor, 86 plus 6, that gives us 92. Now this is just one way that you could have wrote an arithmetic expression. Okay, this is just one way you could have wrote an expression to figure out the pattern. There are many, many different other ways. All right. Boys and girls, that is all for now, and I will see you soon.